So I'll concede that I'm pretty late to this party, honestly. And even though I'm recording this only a few days after I actually got my Holo collection in the mail, PR people and, you know, all those important people who actually do this for a living got their packages way earlier than me. So there's already like a lot of opinions about this drop, and I'm here to agree with a lot of them. I know, really unfortunate, especially if you've been seeing the reviews recently. Which is interesting because I don't actually talk about every single Holo taco drop, usually because I'm either not posting at the time, as in the February one that just came out, or just wasn't really something that I wanted to talk about like most of the other collections. But I have talked about 2 other collections, kind of. One was a stream that I did, and I was like streaming to literally nobody, so that one's just privated on my page because it's got copyrighted music in the background. It's a whole thing. And that one was the Off the Deep End collection. That was the one I did a stream about. It's very interesting that this is the first one that I ever even tried to do a review of in any type of way. Again, it was on live stream. But this is interesting because these are jelly adjacent, right? These are like jelly bases that have like shimmers and glitters and stuff like that in them, mostly flakies. So these, right? They're jelly base with like the fun colored flakies in them and that kind of stuff. So these are the ones, the Off the Deep End collection. These are the ones that I reviewed live on stream, and it's very interesting because I typically don't like jelly polishes, but I did say that I liked these. My problem with jelly polishes is that I don't like being able to see down to my nail line. Like, that's just not something I'm interested in. If I'm wearing nail polish, just to be wearing nail polish, not to be wearing the slightest coat of color over my natural nails. That's not something I'm into. So I don't like these the most, the Off the Deep End collection. What I did like about them was the glitters and the flickies. I thought they were very beautiful, and I liked the layered effect, which is the point of jellies. The point of the jelly polish is to layer it and to do like the fun things, and we saw in those like little, I think she does call them the thumbnails, but the little like short little video clips that like show what it looks like, how you can like see the different layers and how the color of the jelly base like affects the layers, like it's the whole thing. That's the point, right? And these that have the glitters in them, they're $15 a bottle, a lot, but they look cool and they functioned well, right? I do have some pictures that I'm gonna put up because that was when the lighting was different, but let's look at some swatches of the Off the Deep End collection that I have over here. None of these have top coats on them because I don't want to waste a top coat on swatches that I've already done before, but let's see. So we have these guys. I already had this issue when I was doing the stream too. It's really hard for my camera to focus on these. It doesn't like them very much, but you can see that they're clear. Like, they're still jellies. You can still see through them. It's not gonna focus on it. My camera doesn't. My camera hates focusing, which is why I took the pictures of them, but like you can tell they're clear. That's why I use the clear sticks when I have, when I have white based ones. I use clear sticks anyway, specifically to point out the differences between the jellies, because these are jellies. These are technically jelly polishes. They've got a jelly base, and I like them, not as much as the other stuff. Crushed Holo is my favorite formula, so obviously I'm not gonna like these as much as the crushed ones, but I at least like them enough, and I understand the point, and I think they're fun, and I have worn these like a few times and more than once. I do wish it was only 5. One of my least favorite thing Holo Taco does is when they release a collection of 6, just do 5. This is a personal preference. Just do 5. Just have it be all in one hand, all in one mani. Just do 5. The 7s made sense and were fun is because we were doing rainbows, and I also like the collections that have like 7 or like a big number of them when they do different formulas. The only other thing I've ever reviewed is it won't even tell me what the name of the collection was. Oh, 6th anniversary collection. Oh right, that's why it was so disappointing, because it was an anniversary collection and it was bad, at least in my opinion. I thought it was pretty bad. That one came out with a Crelly, which I hate the Crellys, which we talked about. For example, Icon on Board was a quote-unquote Crelly. It looks like just pink. My thing about the Crellys is it doesn't look like that. It looks like just a creme, you know? And then the other ones I had major issues with was this one. Jelly with a fiery red shimmer. I had a big problem with this one, and again, this is like just my opinion, and I'm sure a lot of other people had the opposite opinion, but I thought this was so badly done. I was so disappointed in this one. This is very specifically like a dupe of what they call unicorn pea because it's so rare. It was so fancy. It was a very, very expensive type of nail polish because it had this really fun like red with purple shimmer and the gold running through it. It was expensive because it was fancy and it looked very cool. So this is supposed to be a dupe of that very specific polish. And for some reason, it's a jelly. And if the original is a jelly, I understand why they would have done that. I'm sorry, my hair keeps getting caught in my glasses. I need to tighten them again. My thing is, if you're making a dupe, because I want you to look at this right here. Does this look layered at all? No, it just looks like this color. That's just what it looks like. So there's no layering effect happening here. All that's happening is unless you wear like 40 coats of this shit, you can just see your visible nail line, which I hate. I hate that. So I was so disappointed in this polish specifically because it would take like so many coats for it to actually look good, in my opinion, which defeats the point. Especially this was a limited edition. So why would I use like 60 coats of nail polish for a limited edition polish? So this one specifically, the jelly, was very disappointing to me, as well as the Crelly. What I did like about this collection was the variation in types, right? I like the difference between the like different things and the finishes and stuff. I just wish they would get away from Crellys and jellies. I hate them, and I don't think they're done well, which is why this collection is my least favorite collection I think they've ever released. I just think it's just plain bad, like just bad. So that was the other one that I reviewed on camera. So let's talk about 4th anniversary. Oh, so these were another anniversary. These, these are also jellies. This is why I'm bringing this up. Where is it? There we go. These are the jellies here that were in the 4th anniversary collection. These were the ones that came out right around the Barbie movie. And she was like, I didn't do that on purpose, but it is funny that it happened. So I have these, again, also on swatch sticks, and I'll also like, I'll put the like picture up somewhere around here because my camera is having issues focusing. But like, these are clear. They're jellies, right? They're clear, but they have little holographic glitters in them. So again, at least it's something fun. Now, if you ask me personally, this picture right here does not look like a jelly. It's very, very different than the Off the Deep collection. Like, it doesn't look layered at all. And on the swatch sticks, same thing. It really doesn't look layered, so I don't understand the point of it being a jelly. Again, the reason, supposedly, that these were jellies was so that you could have that layered effect with the hollow glitters. I just do not see it in practice, because I like these colors. These are bright neon colors, they're fun colors, and I like the little glitters. So I actually did wear these a lot because I like them. I think they're fun. Because even if a color is limited edition, and I like it, I'm gonna wear it. I'll just be sure not to like completely empty out the bottle, right? So these are still clear, but you can tell like what color they are, how saturated they are, even from this like weird camera quality. And that brings us to thoughts on the newest collection, which is called Jelly. I think it's just called Jelly. Oh, Jelly Sandwich. Okay. Right, so it's the the Jelly Sandwich collection. So that's specifically a collection about jellies. And they've released jellies before, as we've already seen. They've released a few Crellies before. I dislike the Crellies immensely, which we just talked about. If you put on a bunch of coats, it just looks like a creme, so it defeats the fucking point. And another thing to remember is jellies are kind of trending right now, or at least they have been for a little bit. Again, I don't really like the jelly nail polish very much unless there's something fun going on. So I'm not one to go pick up a bunch of jelly polishes, really. But the 2 collections they've done recently, or at all, that involved these jelly polishes, I liked. Because with the 4th anniversary collection, with like the retro style ones, the colors are bold and fun and neon, and there's holographics, and so the layering effect doesn't really work, in my opinion. And I dislike the fact that I can still see my visible nail line at the bottom, but at least the colors are fun, and it feels very summer and fun. With the Off the Deep End collection, again, dislike that I can see my visible nail line, and I can't with those, honestly, because it's so jam-packed with the like iridescent little flakies and stuff. So I like that one because the layering effect actually works. So they have released 2 full jellies collections so far, and I liked them just fine, even though, you know, jellies are not my favorite thing. Disliked the Crellies because to me they seemed like a waste. Either pick a creme or pick a jelly. And now I say, don't do jellies ever again. Just pick cremes. Again, jellies are kind of trending, so it makes sense that they would do it. And they're trying to reach out to a bunch of different like formulas and stuff, which is fun. I like it. They also finally released a different type of magnet, which you can buy magnets from anywhere, but they only had the one magnet, this one right here. I have so many of them that they're just like stuck all over all my desks. This one, it comes free in like most of the collections that have magnetic anything in them, which is why I have so many. which is nice. I love that, but I have like a bunch now. I wish there was a way to opt out of that, honestly. But they finally came out with a new magnet instead of just the one single strip. So like we're branching out, we're doing more fun things. So this collection released with 7 total polishes, 5 jellies, and 2 toppers. And I have something to say about the toppers. I stopped doing the toppers. You're not good at them, which is so sad to say because they were so good at the toppers. They used to be so good at the toppers. They had like the whole rainbow of the shimmers and the iridescent flakies. Those were really, really good toppers. Recently, they've been coming out with like the shooting star topper and the like flowery one and a bunch of like really big glitter, essentially really big glitters suspended in a clear top coat, and that is their top coat. It is just, it's not good. It's not good because it doesn't work very well. With the flaky top coats, you put it on your nail and boom, it's there. But with these really large glitters, these large chunky glitters, and especially with like the weird shapes, it is so difficult to actually get them out of the bottle and use them. Holo Taco, or I guess Christine's own advice on how to use these is to pour out a little bit and use a toothpick to pick them up and place them specifically on your nail. That's not how you use nail polish, you know what I mean? Like if you want to do that, just get loose glitter. Just get like loose little glitters, which I also don't really like to use. I find them incredibly difficult to use. So I wish they would stop making these top coats that are just weirdly shaped glitters that are hard to use. We'll come back to this point because I actually contradict myself a little bit. But yeah, so it's these 5 jelly formulas and 2 top coats, and I think every single one, except for maybe one of these polishes, is very disappointing. So I showed the other jelly formulas up here. Let's do these. These are the new jellies. Isn't that so disappointing? Okay, let me do all the blues. Like, let's look at these. Like, these are very clearly all see-through, and these are all very similar shades, which we'll talk about that in a minute, that these are all basically repeat shades. But, like, you can, like, be real, look at my bracelet. Like, you can see, it's non-existent polish. There's nothing there. These are very similar shades. These are all jellies, but this one specifically, the jelly with nothing in it, this is 3 coats, and it's just completely see-through. This, compared to a dollar store polish that I have over here, this one's a slightly lighter shade of blue, but they have the similar opacity, you know? It's hard to see. That's why I want to put up the pictures that I took earlier today with better lighting and like better focus on the camera. When I saw that blue in specific, where'd it go? The Meltdown one. This one specifically. I was like, I have that polish in a dollar store polish. And I do. I have it right here. It is, we just looked at it, so it is not the same tone. You can tell this one's a little bit more green, and when I held them up, you could see that this one was, in fact, a twinge lighter. So I'll give them that. It's not an exact dupe of a dollar store polish, but they're pretty fucking close. And this is just the one that came off the top of my head, but I am 100% sure if I looked through my swatches of other dollar store polish, I could find pretty fucking close dupes to these other jelly polishes. Pictures like this, I want to know how many coats they put on, you know? Because that, you can see through it because it's a jelly, but this is so much darker than this one. It's just so much darker. And it's also way more like baby blue. Mine are more like green. Like this one is like way more accurate to what I was seeing, or even this one. But it's hard to tell how many coats they did. Like that, you can see every little detail. To me, this is the most accurate, or more accurate than that first picture I saw. And I'm sure you saw it when I had that page pulled up. These are $13 for a polish that doesn't really function. Like, let's be real. I could go to the dollar store and buy a creme in this exact same color and it would probably function like this because it's a shitty dollar store polish that don't actually have really good coverage. Holo Taco's like main draw is that it was very good coverage, very consistent, clean coverage, and that is just not at all the experience of using these jellies. I find them incredibly streaky and incredibly sticky, where this one specifically is actually incredibly liquidy. It's so funny that this one is the exact one I thought of. This one was one of the ones that came in like a special hanging one. The cap keeps coming off like that. The second one, it's so fucking sheer. Basically tinted water. It's so like clear and see-through and watery. What? The shade name is literally see-through with C spelt like the ocean. I tried to look on the receipt. I tried to look on all the little like backings that I pulled off of these. I think it's supposed to be nail polish. Like I don't think it's supposed to be anything else. I'm gonna add it because I can't find anything saying it's not nail polish. So I'm gonna go ahead and add it even though it's so weird. We'll see what's up with it when we swatch it later. That video where I mixed a bunch of dollar store polishes together, I talk about this one specifically and I say I don't think this is even a polish because it doesn't function or look like a polish. And this is immediately what I thought of when I started testing out these polishes. Was this really shitty dollar store polish that I thought wasn't even a polish because it functioned so badly. Now, the reason they are so see-through is because they are supposed to be sandwiches. They're supposed to be jelly sandwiches. So you're supposed to put down a layer of the color, a top coat of some kind, like one of their weird flaky ones, or some kind of glitter, or something, put another layer on, right? So that's where the sandwich comes in. You're supposed to sandwich these glitters in between the coats of the jellies. So it's supposed to be like creating your own Off the Deep End collection, which does feel very Holo Taco, does feel very in their brand, and very smart if it was actually done well. The very first Holo Taco launch ever was the one coat black, the royalty blue, if I remember right. It was like the dark navy one, and then 3 top coats, because the whole point of Holo Taco in the first place was supposed to be specialty and making your own kind of thing, right? So it came out with 2 very basic colors that would look good under the 3 top coats. The point was to use those 3 top coats with any polish you already have and automatically make it fancier. And then they started branching out into more like specialty type polishes. There was a big deal and a big focus on the specialty polishes rather than the cremes. Then we started getting a lot more cremes, which was, you know, makes sense. You gotta bolster up your collection, or like Holo Taco's collection. It released with a bunch of also new toppers, which are really fun and really exciting. I really love to do one coat black, the iridescent toppers, and then a matte top coat. Like that's one of my favorite things to do. Or to take like from the tea collection, again, a very old collection, the High Brew Hibiscus, I think, is like that purpley one with the gold flake top coat and then a matte top coat. Also, I get everyone else hates the crackle polish, but I like the crackle polish. Putting a creme underneath with the crackle polish on top, I think is really fun. But these are like specialty things, right? So that I understand why. I understand what they're going for. They want you to do that, again, that like specialty, like make it yourself, build it yourself kind of thing. But these are just so sheer that I would, again, just go to the dollar store and get a shitty dollar store polish. But instead we're paying $13 for like a polish that doesn't even really work. I guess it's technically working as intended because you can see directly through it no matter how many coats you put on there. But I just don't understand what's appealing about that besides the idea of building it yourself. But then why is it so expensive? The Off the Deep End ones were $15 and they're just so much better. Like it's more expensive because there's more stuff in it, I get it. But they're just so much better. And these are pretty similarly priced. Oh no, creams are $13. Damn, that's kind of a lot. Maybe I concede this point. Creams are $13. Oh, I'm the high tea hibiscus. I was right about that. But, okay, so I take that point back. That's on me. It might have been 11 at one point because I do remember their prices did go up because of, like, pigmentation and stuff. Okay, I concede this point. That one's on me. I still complain about the price because I feel like there's just not enough going on in these polishes to warrant a $13 price. The reason I care less about the $13 mark for the crims is because the crims function better than dollar store polishes. You put one coat of a lot of these colors on and you'll get mostly max coverage. Like if you've got short nails like I do right now, you put one coat of almost any of these and it's like, you're done. They function well. They have really good coverage and they self-level. I do 3 coats of every single polish just because I think I like the thickness of it. But truly you could get away with like 1 or 2, depending on nail length and skin tone and all that kind of stuff. So for me, the crims are okay being that expensive because I like the way they function. With the jellies, they don't function. Like they just really don't. Like I said, it's really streaky, really gloopy, really hard to control, really hard to use. I've read and heard from other people that they do still self-level, whatever. And again, if I can go to the dollar store and get something comparable for like the craziest smallest fraction of the price, then it's incredibly disappointing to pay $13 for something that looks like a dollar store polish. But again, I get it. They want you to build your own. They want you to be creative and fun and build these polishes, like the whole sandwiching thing. Let's talk about the top coats then, because these are the things you're supposed to sandwich in between the polishes. These are the top coats, so we're going to talk about those. This is really horrible lighting, horrible angle, bad focus. As you can see, I have 4 that look very similar on there because when I saw this one Picnic Party top coat, this one. When I saw this one, I automatically thought of two dollar store polishes that might be a dupe for it, which is not good. The two ones I immediately thought of were these two. I have a conspiracy theory about these two. This is LA Girls Color Pop, and this is in the shade Feisty. It looks very similar, doesn't it? Very similar color schemes, circle glitters. And then this one is LA Colors Color Craze in the shade Craze. Again, very similar. In fact, these two are the exact same fucking polish. I have a conspiracy theory about this. I think that this is LA Girls Color Pop and this is LA Colors Color Craze. I think these two are the same brand, or like at least under the same umbrella, or they're just like getting wholesale polishes. So these are dollar store polishes, so it's not like a lot of work is going into them. These are in fact the exact same polish. So when I saw that polish, I immediately thought of these. There is a big difference between them, I will concede that. Okay, this one, something you can see is on the website it looks way more pink. In real life it looks very orange yellow, like it doesn't look that pink. And then this is an insanely good look. This is not how it came out when I did it. Let's look at this swatch stick. This is the swatch stick I created when they very first came in. So here, it's this one. You see how sparse that is? Come on. It's incredibly sparse. It's not behaving. And also you get a sneak peek at the butterfly one, which is actually holographic, you can see. But it's very, very sparse. Like it's not nearly as looks well done as this one. Which, again, there's probably the chance that she just picked them out with a toothpick and did them individually, which is fine. But to me, that defeats the point of buying an entire top coat. So the main difference between this one and then the $2 store polishes is these are just uniformly the same small circle glitters, right? These are all hexagon glitters, and they got big ones and they've got little ones, even though maybe one big one will actually get on your nail and maybe three of the little ones, and mostly these itty bitty teeny tiny little ones. So like expect a way sparser thing unless you're very meticulously taking a toothpick out and doing this very individually and carefully. So I have it. So we have the party one and then the two dollar store ones. I'll put a better picture on the screen. But so they do look different. I'll give them that much. And on this swatch stick specifically, that's why it's so like chunky and kind of gross, is because I did try and use the brush itself to put more glitter on to make it look closer to this picture, to more resemble this and less of the one where I just did the one swatch and I was like, damn, that really didn't work very well. But that's kind of the same complaint I have of all of their top coats that are just like these large glitters. They just don't work very well unless you want to sit there and fucking fight with it. The only other one I have on here is the Orly's Lisa Frank one, ... I thought maybe this would be a better match because it's got different variations in the glitter size, but honestly it's not at all. So there is no like true dupe for it. I still think it's crazy that I immediately thought of a dollar store polish when I saw it. And one last difference between the dollar store polish and this picnic party polish is this one very clearly has a very clear base coat that the glitters are just suspended in, and for some reason both of these dollar store polishes have this weird like yellowy orange base for some reason. The Lisa Frank one also has like this weird like pinky orange base underneath, so when you put it over white it actually stains the white weird colors, which is just a weird thing that I noticed. So Holo Taco's at least actually has a clear base coat. Also in the swatch stick here we can see the difference between the Holo Taco one and the not Holo Taco one. This shade is called See-Through, that's why it's S. This one's called Meltdown, that's why it's M. But my point here was to show that they're essentially the same, even though they are two different colors, they're the same like opacity level. Basically non-existent. I know it's not showing up on the camera right now because of the more mood lighting I have going on in here, but like each one of these, oh, you can see it a little bit. Layered it in a specific way so you can see how the opacity changes with each layer. So you can see 1, 2, and 3 and how the color builds up over time. But again, even at number 3, it's not even close to this one. This is a more neon orange, sure, but like the opacity is just not even in the same realm. Like, see where you can see my bracelet? It's just not in the same realm. These have 3 coats, but so does this corner of this one. Lastly, I actually put this nail polish on and compared it directly to the 4th anniversary collection with the blue and the purple because they were very similar. Again, these are very similar shades we've seen before, just in a different formula, especially the purple. The purple straight up was disappointing. Again, this is my swatch stick from when I got it. These are the new Holo Taco collection. This one is the new purple that came with it. This one is the exact same, almost, purple that came in the Beetlejuice collection for Sally Hansen, I think. Yeah, I think Sally Hansen. It's over there somewhere. Right there. You can actually see right there. It's the exact same purple pretty much. And it's pretty boring, honestly. Like, at least with the 4th anniversary, there were fun colors. They were neons. And with the Off the Reef collection, the colors themselves were kind of boring, but because it had the iridescent flickies in it, it gave them dimension. But these are just very basic, very boring colors, also with 2 blues for some reason. Apparently the green was really hard to make work. I understand that. And people were also saying that they wish a red had come out in collection. I'm gonna level with you guys. I don't think you can make a red in this type of formula. Like, maybe if it wasn't as sheer and as, like, bad of a polish. I don't want to say bad because this was the goal. Like, they set out to accomplish this specific task and they did it. So I'm not gonna say it's, like, bad. And people love the jelly polishes for some reason. But you couldn't get a red because you'd have to saturate it so much. And these are so unsaturated with, like, dye and pigment. I got really off track there. I was gonna talk about the butterfly one. The butterfly top coat. I surprisingly really like this one. Now, I don't like the fact that it's butterflies. Like, I don't give a fuck about butterflies. I do like that they're holographic glitters and not just like the 2 glitters that have different colors. Not a fan of that. I do like that they're at least holographic. They're fun shaped. They're kind of, I feel, smaller than a lot of the other ones. Like, not necessarily, like, they're a little bit bigger than like the circles or not the circles, the hexes in this one, but not much bigger. And I feel like they're way smaller than like the flower one or the shooting star one. The difference is this one is actually easy to use. So I spoiled it earlier, but if we go back to this swatch stick and we look at it here, I'm gonna have to put in a better picture, but again, this is just my first pass through, and it put like a good amount of glitters on the nail, and not well dispersed, but at least a little bit dispersed, and that was me taking it out of the box, not shaking it because I don't shake top coats, but like mixing it a little bit with the brush and I just take it out and I swipe it across the nail, and it was so much better than any of the other ones they've done so far. So I actually really enjoy this one. I think it's actually well done, which is saying so much since all of their other ones were not well done and were incredibly annoying to use. But let's talk about how good these polishes are at making a jelly sandwich. So I took pictures as I was doing this, but like I said, I have them on my nails, and these ones are the new jellies with the butterfly top coat, and these are the 4th anniversary ones because I just like those so much better. And as a direct comparison, something I did notice is that even in these, so the 4th anniversary ones, the blue is really weak. The blue is the worst one. Blue is the one you can see through the most. So maybe it's something specifically about the blues that are having so much issues. But again, like comparing it to the other ones in this collection, they're all kind of the same. But even the blue in the 4th anniversary one, I can see straight through it. It's not my favorite. But these 2 specifically, the ones with the butterflies, I just think they look so bad. And I don't know if it's because I just have short nails, so the butterflies look overcrowded and really boring. But to me, it's not even really a layered effect. It looks like you put blue over your top coat. Like, it doesn't look well done or fancy. It just doesn't look, it doesn't give a layered effect. It doesn't give like a, I guess I don't know what they were going for, but I feel like it doesn't give what they were going for. Anyways, this is what I'm talking about. So like these in the back here look a little bit more like layered. This one's obviously layered and this kind of stuff, but I just don't think this looks good. See? This doesn't look layered to me because these 2 are very clearly on separate layers, but don't they all look exactly the same? Like, it doesn't give this whole like layered effect. So it kind of fails at the main premise. This looks like it's just on top, which again kind of defeats the point of the entire collection. Like, I can't even tell if these are layered or if they're just on top, which the whole point of the collection is that it's supposed to be a sandwich. These definitely look like they're under, which again, I don't think it looks good though. And also it's really hard to tell they're butterflies. They kind of look more like stars. So I do like the butterfly one more than most of the stuff they've put out, as well as definitely the one that came out with this collection. I just don't think it even does the goal that they set out for. Again, I'm going to be putting up more pictures in the like more direct, better lighting that I've been working on, but the comparisons for especially the ones where I broke them down into 3 pieces, because I wanted to really show like, yeah, this is 3 coats, but it doesn't look that different from just doing like 2 coats or 1 coat sometimes. And you can definitely see it building up, but it's like, that's 3 coats of polish to do what a dollar store polish would do in 1 coat. Pretty disappointing. I did see something pretty interesting online where somebody was talking about like doing the base jelly, then doing like a magnetic top coat or something fun like that, and then another jelly on top. That might be interesting, but it's just like, I just don't understand why they went so sheer. I mean, maybe it is the exact same as all of these other ones. It's just because there's nothing in it, you can just really, really tell. But I really don't think that's true. Because, I mean, just looking at it, I can tell the difference. I can see straight through to my desk on the newest ones, and I can't for the other ones. Even this, like, blue from the 4th anniversary collection that I told you on my nails is still fairly sheer and like really like kind of disappointing at how sheer it is when it doesn't even give that layered effect. Like that, I'm just looking at them, one I can see straight through to my desk and one I can't. What would actually be interesting is to do a base of the 4th anniversary one, the blue one, do a base of the jelly on top, and then to do another base of the, or another layer of the 4th anniversary one. That would be the best to get you a layered effect. I don't know, maybe that's a use case for these, but otherwise I really don't see much use for these. And the thing about that is, like, I didn't put on like a white base or anything under that, it's just like my natural nails, but I did put on like a color correcting base, a Holo one too, so it's not like it's like formula differences. But I normally don't do that. I normally just put on like a long lasting base, but I specifically put on the color correcting base to minimize the fact that you could just see straight through them. But anyways, I'm really disappointed with these. It just feels weird for a brand that was really specific and proud of the fact that they got really good coverage polishes to come out with polishes that are intentionally bad or like intentionally sheer, and also make them so sheer that it's like kind of pointless. A lot of other people are saying that the colors don't really match what's in the bottle, which to me isn't that big of a deal. They're very sheer polishes, that's never going to be the same. A lot of them are saying that the pictures on the website don't really match the colors, which I kind of agree with, but then again, like, color correction is a thing and they're gonna look very different on everyone's skin tone and in everyone's colors, so the colors not matching is not really that big of a deal to me. It's just the usability of the thing that really matters to me a lot. Like, I always say that jellies aren't my favorite, but I really liked the Off the Deep End collection, and I like the 4th anniversary okay. It's not my favorite, but it's not like the worst thing I've ever seen. Like, this most recent anniversary collection made me really be like, why? Why would you do this? I don't know, I'm gonna experiment with them a little bit more and see if there's anything I can do to them to make me actually enjoy them. But honestly, I find this really, really disappointing. But anyways, that's enough of me ranting about nail polish for close to an hour. I really hope they start coming out with literally anything else. I'm over the Crellies and the jellies. I just don't think they're well done, in all honesty. I know the Crellies had a lot of pretty negative reception because they just really weren't well done. But anyways, that's gonna be it for me in this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.